What is up, everybody? It's been a second, but we are back. We're with episode 8. This is BA in PAX. I got my good buddy here, Adam.
What up?
Welcome back.
We're back.
It is
almost like a second season.
It's almost like season 2, but I feel like 8 episodes in, we're not quite towards like an HBO series yet, you know? It's like it's like a mini series right now, so not really season 2 worthy just yet. But regardless, we are back. So sorry for our little surprise break, but life has been a little bit crazy. Good crazy, but crazy nonetheless. Yeah, I guess I'll explain since it was pretty much my fault.
It's all your fault. It's all your fault.
I have this shiny gold ring on my finger because I got married.
What?
It was... I know I look like a baby, but I got married and I'm super, super excited. I have an amazing wife. And of course, naturally, when you get married, the week of is crazy. And then the next week you go on your honeymoon. So that explains 2 weeks. And then I came back and the film I was in, 12 My Orphans, came out. And that made another crazy week.
Yeah, and you started a new job.
And then I started a full-time job. So it's my fault. It's just been a little bit crazy. So that's why the channel's been kind of on sleep mode, rest mode. But
you put your big boy pants on all at once. You literally did all of the adult things like within a 2-week window, 3-week window. You got married, you got a honeymoon, you got a new job.
Yeah, it was scary, but it was good. I mean, yeah, I don't know how my life worked out that way, but it did. Literally graduated, marriage, job, and then a film release. I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it. Take breaks. I didn't listen to anybody, and the result of that was everything happened at once. So, but yeah, so I'm excited to be back, and I'm sure Adam's excited to be back as well.
I'm excited for you to be back. I'm excited to get back in. There's a lot. Obviously, a lot has happened since Berkan left. You know, with sports, with basketball. You know, we're in the I guess the Western Conference Finals have begun. The Eastern Conference Finals are starting. And it's just been a lot of craziness. The Mavs were up and down. The Mavs, being local to Dallas,
so
it was a tough go. And then all of the insanity that's been happening within the Mavericks front office, and all of that's been crazy for the local Dallas people. I think the national media is just starting to pick it up a little bit, other than the obvious Coach Carlisle gone and General Manager Donnie Nelson gone. So crazy.
Yeah,
crazy.
It's nuts. And I was on a plane during Game 7 when they lost. So I was literally on my way to Hawaii. So I had that blessing. So I wasn't like upset. I recovered well, but I came back and it was just insanity. Literally like Donnie Nelson fired, Rick Carlisle quits. And then this gambler Bob guy is ruining things. And
Vegas Bob.
I'm just like, can we just pick up some stars in the offseason and just win a championship next year? But
let's just do it. Yeah,
let's just do it. But by the way,
easy solution.
I would encourage you to go back to episode 7 to listen to our predictions, our last episode before a little break, because we gave some playoff predictions that were completely wrong. We could not be more wrong with how the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference looks. We just could not be more.
There were
wrong.
Little pieces of things that we said. I just think we didn't have the faith in Trae Young and Atlanta Hawks.
We thought, hey, you said it was going to be 5. I said, no, I thought Atlanta would push the New York Knicks to 6, but to your credit, it was a 5-game series. It was just flipped.
So, yeah. The Knicks played well in game 1 and then the rest of the way. So
one game 2, and then Atlanta, they choked. They couldn't.
And then the Clippers have literally been down. I mean, the Clippers have the Suns right where they want them. Yeah. They're down 2-0.
2-0. It's like
Clippers are
literally Clippers. Like, I have to commend the Clippers because they saw what happened with Denver last year. And they're like, Denver let everybody get up 3-1, and then they just came back and won. So that's what we need to do. But it looks like they're not learning from Denver's mistake, because you're not supposed to do it 3 rounds in a row. It only works 2 consecutive rounds. So we'll see what happens.
We'll see. It's going to be tough. It's going to be good. I mean, they're good games. They're entertaining. There's a lot of excitement. I think it's a really good thing for the NBA. It started with the play-in games, and, forever, for all the people that didn't like it, I think it's just been great for the NBA, and to have a whole bunch of fresh blood in the playoffs is pretty awesome too.
Yeah,
So
it's definitely really exciting. And I'm just excited because I've been holding on a silver DeAndre Ayton prism for the longest time. I did not get rid of it when I should have. And so I just watched it drop. And now that he's hit a game-winning dunk in a Western Conference Finals,
the Valley Oop,
the value,
the Valley
man,
Oop,
the value looks. Oh man,
that was pretty awesome.
I went to Game 3 of the Mavs first round matchup against the Clippers, and that was my expectation of the game was the Valley. And the first 20 minutes, it was crazy like the Valley,
It was
and then
loud.
of course nothing came of it,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, in the past few weeks, we've had some pickups. I've actually been quietly picking up a lot in the past few weeks, but I kind of narrowed mine to 3. I know you've been doing something pretty impressive that maybe not everybody will appreciate, but I appreciate it. I mean, Adam's rainbow game has been strong.
I've been working the rainbow game. You want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead and go first.
All right. So we all know, well, I've been doing the rainbow with Dwight Powell. And I have developed a full scale Dwight Powell. I mean, I think I have like 16 of them of the 31 possible cards. So that's pretty exciting. But more really closer to my heart. You probably heard it in one of the few past episodes, and that was my love for my North Texas Mean Green. I'm an alumni, and as are you now, Berkan. And
Yes,
we have
as I wear a Baylor shirt.
Yeah. We have a football player who was drafted for the first time in a long time. In fact, we broke the streak of the longest drought to be drafted. His name is Jalen Darden, and he is a wide receiver, and he got drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They moved up to draft him, and he has been putting together an awesome preseason, or not preseason, but training camp and rookie training camp. And so I've been quietly picking up, doing breaks and things of him. A lot of people don't like the college cards, but being a college football fan as well, I love them. If there's players that you follow that you are rooting for, and one of them is Jalen Darden. So here's a cracked ice, Jalen Darden from Contenders, which is pretty sick looking. Number 23. I love that. And then to continue on the cracked ice, I will say we missed a couple of products that came out while you were gone, and one of them was Legacy. Yeah, and I really actually like Legacy. I know a lot of people they hate on it because it's kind of a lower end product compared to a lot of the products that are out in the market. I think it offers great bang for buck. The knock on it is all the rookies are in their college jerseys. So that's a rough for value for investing or whatever you want to call it. But the product itself is super high quality. And this year is no different. One of the things I will say with Legacy, I've gone on a rant about it with another friend, is they messed the checklist up, and I'll explain that in a minute. No. But here's a pretty sweet looking Jalen Darden.
Yeah, that cracked ice.
This is so all in Legacy, all of the cracked ice, what we would call cracked ice, is called diamond. I don't know why they did that. It makes no sense because they call cracked ice in Contenders. They call it cracked ice in other products, but whatever they call it. So this I think is amethyst, diamond, or
and something. He actually spells out his name.
Yeah, he writes. It's like a real autograph. Kind of, to be honest with you, I mean, I love Jalen. I love you, but it kind of writes like he's a child, but hey,
it's better.
Like he's not better. A child, but
I can't remember who it is.
He writes his name out. It's not really what you would call a signature, but heck, it's a lot better than a check mark. Or
I think it's Tyree Maxey, who just has two lines who are just parallel, and that's it. That's the autograph.
And then my personal favorite, which I don't know if the video will do it justice, but
the blue shimmer
of the Prism Draft. One of my favorite collegiate products every year. And this one's number 13. This is the first off the line exclusive. So I had to pick me up one of those. And then there was another player that was drafted, or undrafted actually, who went to North Texas and had probably one of the most epic catches in North Texas football history, in a comeback victory that I was actually at the game. And because of that, I wanted to pick up his card. He transferred to Hawaii his senior year and he got hurt and didn't play very well in Hawaii, but they put him in his North Texas jersey for that set. So I got one of these as well, cracked ice blue of Rico Bussey Jr. Man, for some reason, the camera's struggling with light there. Rico Bussey Jr. right there.
The card's just shining too bright.
It's too bright. So this is numbered to 75. These are nice, but yeah.
That is nice.
So
yeah.
Anyway, so that, and then the legacy thing that I've been doing, you talk about rainbow. This is where the checklist messed up on legacy. They really straight up, they messed up the checklist. So I am doing the rainbow of the mini card in legacy. So there's these minis. Here's the regular mini of Jalen Darden. So they're beautiful cards. I mean, these are awesome looking, and they don't get enough love, honestly, because they're little. They're just the little guys. So this one's numbered 100. This is the copper, and then this one is the red. This one's numbered to 75. This one's I call it blue. I'm not sure. I think sapphire. I think is what they call it. I'm not sure, but there's the blue. Pretty sweet. That's numbered to 50. And then this is where we get crazy. So on the checklist, the card number to 25 is called the yellow diamond.
Uh-huh.
And let me see if you can tell me what's wrong with that. This is the card number to 25.
Nice.
Look at that yellow.
I think we're colorblind.
Yeah. It's green. My camera's just struggling with it. Yeah, it's green.
Hey, at least
obviously
it matches.
Not yellow. Yeah, it's like the team color
perfect
parallel.
UNT error.
And then, so this would be I can't even remember what this would be, like the something else diamond. So this one's yellow, of course. This one's numbered to 10.
Oh, nice.
So
there's more traditional.
There's some errors on the checklist. They also don't tell you which cards come in the Dare to Tear. So I had to do research and figured that out. So there's a bunch of them that come in the Dare to Tear, which I think it would be cool if we should go. And I looked at it. No, we should dare. We should go see, maybe put some funds together, put some things together, and buy like 3 or 4 of the Dare to Tears.
Yeah, I'd be down. I'm always down for
a mini break, literally like a mini break. So yeah. So that's what I've got. What are you rocking with?
All right. So the first one I lied. I have 4, but the fourth one, or the first one's a ghost. I don't have it yet, but I'm still super excited about it. So I joined Impeccable just released. And we'll talk more about Impeccable later. But Impeccable just released for basketball, and I decided to join a break. There's no way I can ever afford Impeccable. That's never gonna.
And we're in the same group.
On the channel anytime.
We're in the same group where you joined the break.
Yeah, we do the same break guy. Yeah.
And when I saw that you joined it before, I saw it right when you did it, and I was like, Berkan, that's not a good choice. Impeccable was like a 1-pack break.
It was a 1-pack.
Like, oh, it's probably gonna be. It was a pick your team. Yeah. I'm stealing your thunder. I'm not gonna tell.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
I was like, Berkan, you're throwing money away, man.
It wasn't too bad. So it was $68 for the Dallas Mavericks, and it was a 1 box, 1 chance. And I was thinking to myself,
what, 7 cards or something? Or 8
I
cards?
Think it's a little more. I think it's like 12, but you get like 5 autographs.
That makes it way better.
But so it wasn't like too bad. But in my head, I'm thinking, if I can just get one of those Luka Doncic, like 1-ounce silver cards, or a Dirk auto, I would be so happy. Because my thought process was, okay, $68 for 1 box sucks, but at least it's not over 100. At least I know if I get a card, it will be a Maverick, and it has to be like good if it's impeccable. Like I'm not gonna get like something terrible, or at least I hoped I wouldn't.
You're not gonna get like
terrible.
A Tyrell Terry numbered to 99 metal card with a squiggly autograph on it.
No, but I was like, why not? Because if I get a Luka or a Dirk, I'm going to be the happiest person. And then what I least expected happened. And the thing with this group, the reason I like them, they don't do like a lot of case breaks or anything like that, but I always hit big with them. Like I hit a huge John Morant rookie gold from Origins. I literally, in a Noir break last year, I said before the break started, and it was a random team, and I had the Bucks. I'm like, I'm going to get a Giannis redemption right here. And that's exactly what happened. And so I'm like, in my head, I'm thinking, if there's ever a group to do this with, it is this like page. So I bought into the Mavericks, and sure enough, like the second auto pulled was, and at this point I see a message from Adam, and it says, hey, is the break tonight? And literally as I read the message, the guy like flips over the card and reveals a Jason Terry 1-of-1 victory. And I was just like, yes.
A Jason Terry 1-of-1 autograph, right?
1-of-1 auto. Yeah.
But
1-of-1 auto. And it's like Dallas versus Miami Heat. And it says victory. And it has that
that's pretty
classic
awesome.
Panini 1-of-1, like blue,
The
light blue.
signature.
Yeah. And I'm just like, I'm like excited because I grew up a huge Mavs fan. Jason Terry's my childhood, you know? So like maybe no one else would care if they got the Mavs. They're like, oh, 1-of-1 Jason Terry, that's cool. I can flip it. To me, that's so exciting.
Yeah, it's a PC. It's a PC hit because
exactly.
Obviously we've talked before about putting together that Mavs kind of block of all the players and all their autographs and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's like a perfect Terry edition.
Literally, my goal is like I need an autograph from each member from the championship team. We mentioned that in the first episode. Yep. Now I literally have one that says that's Jason Terry, a pivotal,
yeah, big part of the whole run.
Was arguably in the running for Finals MVP. And it says literally Dallas Mavericks versus Miami Heat victory, and it's a 1-of-1. I mean, I was just like,
funniest part was, so right after this, you text me and you were like, yeah, I pulled a Dallas. I got a Dallas. I got a 1-of-1 Terry. And of course, because of the year and because I know most products now are heavily rookie based, I assumed that it was Tyrell Terry. So I was like, oh, cool. Like, oh, that's like a, $60 card. Like, that's cool. And then I was like, so you got Tyrell Terry. And you were like, no, I got Jet. And I was like, that's awesome. So
yeah, pretty cool. I was really excited. And it was just really funny that you texted me right as the guy was revealing it was a 1-of-1. And I was like, I don't know what to do. Celebrate or respond to Adam.
Yeah.
That's cool. So that was the first one. I don't have it yet. I'll do it again. I will put it back in the podcast. Hopefully next episode I'll have it, but we'll see. The next one I saw it. It was kind of one of those things where like I was debating whether I wanted to get something to rip or if I wanted to, because my streak has been pretty bad.
Like, busting packs.
I've not done well really busting when I'm not like, I do fine when I'm off camera. But as soon as I try to film something for channel, I just haven't had the best luck, which I think I'm still paying the Panini gods for giving me such great luck when I started as BD packs. And now I'm just still paying them forward. But so I was like, you know what? I'll just invest in something kind of cool for my collection. So I got a Magic Johnson auto to 25, which I thought was really cool. Obviously one of the best point guards to ever play. So I was like, you know what? His prices aren't like crazy right now. So it was pretty cheap. I mean, it was like, full disclosure, it was like $100 card, but for $100 for like the best point guard. And then obviously a Laker legend and everything like that.
And it's a clean card. It's nice. It's got
it doesn't have any like issues. It's from, what was this called? I think it's Status Basketball from 1920. And so I was like, it's a why not situation. So I did, and I'm glad I really liked it. The next one I got this one right. This is like a wedding gift to myself, but I saw it and I was like, I don't think I can pass on it. And it's kind of an interesting story, but this card was sitting in the shop. And like I said, I have a goal to have everyone from the Mavs collection. And I had a Dirk Nowitzki auto from Contenders, and it was gold. It was out of 10. There's nothing gold about it. And it was a PSA 10, but I I traded it for a couple Lucas, which I then flipped into Zion auto. So it was kind of like a investor, collector, business decision, whatever. And I'm still hoping works out because my Zion auto had an error, and it's been with Panini for a little bit. So hopefully it works out and it wasn't a dud. But that was one of those smart collector moments I think I have sometimes. And so the result of that, though, was me kind of regretting that I gave up Dirk Auto to start that whole process. So when I saw another Contenders Dirk Auto, I kind of had to jump on it. And I got a little bit lucky because when I picked it up, there was a big white scratch like on the auto or right next to Panini Contenders. And so I got it pretty discounted. Like it was around the same price as the Magic Johnson. So I was like, I'm not gonna get a Dirk Auto at that price for a long time. So I was like, I'm gonna do it. Why not? And then I was trying to put the card in a one touch, and the little scratch came off. Like
Oh,
it was just
really?
fuzz. It was just fudge
Wow.
that happened to look like a scratch. So I was like, I'm just gonna take this as a
Winning.
win, as a wedding gift from Panini. So that's that. And the third one, this is probably the most expensive um, pickup I've had in a while. But it was one of those where I thought to myself, if I don't get this now, I will regret this forever. So I picked up a Luka Doncic base from Prism rookie, just because I was like, I think, and we'll talk later about base cards, but to me, with Luka being my PC and me really starting to like build a really cool Luka collection, I was like, how can I not have that card? So that's what I did. I picked that up, and yeah, so I don't have any regrets. I really like my pickups, and that
No
is
regrets.
my show and tell.
Cool.
Yeah. So moving on to kind of some interesting kind of events with the hobby itself. So Target, Walmart, they've obviously kind of stopped selling cards in store, and they've pretty much been online based. You have to pretty much be up at like 2 a.m. on the right day to get a box from Target or Walmart online. But recently I've been on TikTok a lot. I've always been on TikTok a lot, but I've noticed people would go to Barnes and Noble to pick up cards. So this past Sunday on Father's Day, I was picking up cheesecake from Cheesecake Factory for my new father-in-law, still trying to butter him up. And I walked into Barnes and Noble and I was like, I wonder if that's true. And I heard it was Fridays, Saturdays that were the best times to go. And this was Sunday morning. So I was like, there might be something. It just depends how many people go to Barnes and Noble now to shop for cards. And I went in, and sure enough, behind the counter, there was a single pack of collegiate Panini contenders and some Babe Ruth Diamond Kings baseball hangers and a
Yep.
ton of Pokemon. So I picked up a hanger and the last contenders pack, and then I gave it to my father-in-law in addition to his Father's Day gift. So I didn't open them, which is why there's nothing on the channel or anything. But I just thought that was kind of interesting that Barnes and Noble is now kind of going to be a major player of our hobby. So Adam,
Yeah,
what do you think about that?
I think it's an outcome, obviously, with what's obviously happened with retail and everything that's been going on there. And I also I saw some rumors. I've been getting on some of the different like threads, or not threads, but the message boards for trading cards and things like that. And I actually saw a rumor recently of like score 2021 score being at like retail blasters being at like a Sam's or like one of those discount chains for like 1888 for like a couple bucks under retail. And it's all a picture of it. So it was, unless somebody spent some time putting together Photoshop, it seemed pretty legit. But yeah, I think it's cool. I mean, I want to check it out. Maybe you and I can make a run to our local Barnes and Noble, since we're good like 30 minutes apart from each other now. So maybe we can make a run to our local ones and
We'll
see how
meet
we
in the
do.
middle. There's one literally in the middle of us.
Yeah,
Barnes and Noble, Louisville.
I've got one like probably 7 minutes from me.
Yeah.
I think it's still open. You know, that's another thing. I mean, these are stores like Barnes and Noble. I mean, to be fair, how they still have brick and mortar stores is amazing to me. I think that they've literally lived off of like collectibles and,
Yeah,
you know,
they've
pop
been really big
figures
in
and
the
stuff like
pop
that.
game. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think that that's been a significant part of their, you know, their thriving. And I think this is genius. If I was, you know, whoever made that call made a great call. So yeah, if you don't know, now you know, Barnes and Noble spot. We'll find out for sure if it's legit, how legit it is, but if it's a 1 week wonder.
Definitely. I think in years past they've had baseball products. Like I remember like people mentioning last year when Bowman came out, they're like, "Oh, I found Bowman at Barnes and Noble." So they've always kind of had some, but now I think they're actually going to start getting, because now you're seeing like select football megas and contenders and everything hitting their shelves. So it's definitely
Yeah, I
interesting.
think
Go
I,
ahead.
I think they have agreement with the distributor. One of the distributors that generally would distribute to Walmart or Target. Because I've seen at Barnes and Noble before, I've seen like those pre-made packs with like, you get one pack of cards or two packs of cards and then a whole bunch of base
Yeah.
from various years in whatever the sport is. I've seen those kind of like hanger packs before at Barnes and Noble, like at the POS checkout area, or in their collectible area or their toy section. So I've seen that stuff before, but yeah, this is a whole new element here.
For sure. And if you go to Barnes Noble and you want to check, um, they're not going to be like Walmart or Target. I think some will have like a limited, like their Magic Gathering cards, maybe their Pokemon cards will be on a shelf where they kind of have their collectibles. But mostly, I think it's going to be behind the counters, because the Barnes Noble I went to, at least, they were enforcing the two per customer, not two like you get two like per sport, or I'm sorry, you get two or anything. You can get two basketball, two baseball, two football, one baseball, one football, stuff like that. It's not like one per sport or anything, and you can only get two.
So you couldn't get like a Pokemon. You couldn't get two of the sports ones and then two Pokemon packs.
Right. I know I couldn't do that. It's just two. It's just two.
And that's smart. I mean, that's fair.
And I'd prefer it that way. Honestly, I'd rather have an opportunity to get two basketball or two football rather than having to get like one basketball, one baseball, or Pokemon. So I don't know. I'm excited to see how it goes. I was encouraged the fact that they had like a good amount of the baseball stock and at least one of the fat packs for football still available on like a Sunday morning. It's been a long time since that's been a case. I can't remember the last time I picked anything up on a Sunday. So that's pretty cool. We briefly mentioned this about Barnes & Noble, that they have collectibles and they have pop figures. Something kind of new that developed in our little break was Panini and Funko making an agreement. And I thought this was the funniest thing, because Adam knew me when my Funko addiction started and peaked and ended. So, but now
you were in full
Funko mode. I was full Funko mode, and now slowly it's creeping back into my life with this agreement with Panini. And I saw this concept art, and it was like a pop figure of Zion, and behind it was this blown up image of his rookie Prism card, and that was the packaging. What do you think of that?
So I think that's a smart way to put it together. It's odd to me that it was a partnership. I would assume that Funko is doing fairly well. I'm not sure if there's a brand that owns them. I haven't done that much research on them as a whole, but because honestly, if it was Panini, I don't know why they wouldn't just buy them. But obviously that's a completely different element that they are probably not, adept at, managing the creation and the infrastructure of all that. But regardless, I think it's a really cool concept to think about, having like an epic, you always think about the epic cards of our, of years past for me, and then of now, like the iconic card of Zion Prism. Mm-hmm. Everyone knows what he looks like and everyone knows what the card looks like. So to be able to recreate that in a way that everybody kind of wins with Funko and with Panini partnering, they can do that legally. So they can use the card as the background, which I think that's really cool. I mean, you see a lot of famous cards have made their way into pop culture in different ways. And this is just another way that they're partnering to do so with Funko. And it's a whole nother avenue of collectors too. That's another thing, that Panini is going to be able to reach, because you're going to get people who maybe haven't collected cards since they were kids, who maybe miss this whole, whatever you want to call it, bubble for short, but this COVID, rise of the card market again, and collecting. There's those kids that maybe the adults or that do Funko Pops who maybe didn't know where things are at in the card market. And this is kind of reintroduce them and get them back into the whole thing. So yeah, I do think it's a good idea. And at first I was like, what? But I mean, that's cool.
Yeah, I think so. There's one scenario in my head, because obviously what I mentioned was just concept. It wasn't like official or anything like that. It wasn't a Panini official blog, but something that I really am interested in seeing, and this will either kill their product or just completely elevate it. To me, it elevates it to some, it probably kills, but I'd be really interested to see if they put packs in like a single pack in these products, because I think that'd be an interesting mix. Obviously, there'd be a little bit of a price jump, but it'd just be like a couple dollars because it'd just be like a gravity feed pack. Now,
Yeah, I don't know if that's so. One of the things, as far as collecting, like collect
mhm,
all different kinds of collectibles. When I was a kid, obviously, I'm older, so when I was a kid, X-Men comics and X-Men toys, everything, Toy Whiz, I can't remember, Toy Biz or Whiz, whatever.
yeah,
They were selling lots of X-Men and figurines, like toys that you play with, and they almost always had an X-Men card behind it, and it was a card that was already in a set, so it was
yeah,
like a reprint, but it had like the Toy Biz logo on the back.
yeah,
So that's what I envision. I envision maybe them reprinting. This gives Panini the opportunity to do what they love to do, and that is turn their print run back on and print more of
yeah.
whatever the iconic card is. So if it's the Zion Prism, maybe they print another version, and maybe it doesn't have the chrome. Maybe it's not the chrome version. Maybe it's like a standard stock
It's like an
card
NBA hoops.
that
Yeah,
looks like it, and it's got like a print on the back. And maybe they can utilize Funko as a way to kind of not rehash is kind of a negative phrase, but rehash those cards in a different way, and they can create parallels and chase, the chase cards that way
yeah.
too.
I mean,
Without
Funko
having
does
to-
have Chase Funko Pops with a
Yep,
little sticker. So I don't
yep,
know. I think it'd be
that's an
cool.
avenue.
It's cool to me if there's a pack. But I can see how it also would kill it, because I know a lot of collectors would be torn. With, do I open this pack? Do I keep it? It's like even
Yeah,
worse when you have sealed product with Funko. It's like their whole world. They're like, I don't know. I don't think I can actually open this.
I would guess it would be an individual card
Yeah,
that
but
if they were going to introduce it that way.
if it's a pack, I think though you have the opportunity to actually bring in all those like Funko collectors, because now they get to taste, they get to open a pack, and they kind of get an idea of the product a little more. I don't know. I think it's kind of
Right.
cool. And like I said, I'm gonna love it. Some people will hate it. It could kill it, but it could elevate it. You
Yeah, because
never
it's
know.
weird to me because Funko already does sports stuff. So they already have licensing, and they do like, you know,
Yeah, the
you
Dirt
can get a
Pop is
Luca,
like
you can get a
resells for
Dirk
like
pop, you can
400.
get you can get a Baker Mayfield pop, you can get, all that stuff. So that's the only one I own, by the way. But yeah, so it's crazy. We'll see what happens. Honestly, since it launched, since they talked about it, I haven't really seen much about it. So I haven't
Yeah,
researched it, but I didn't even know about the Zion thing. I think that's kind of cool the way they did that.
I can't remember where I saw the concept. I don't know if it's official, but I saw the concept and I actually really liked it. And you'll be proud to know that my Funko collection consists of only two. I have
Yeah,
one from Disney World that Allison and her parents brought back for me, which I could never sell,
it was a
obviously.
gift.
It was a gift. And the second one I have of Jeff Goldblum doing his sexy Jurassic Park pose, but it's signed by Jeff Goldblum. So
Oh, you got to keep that.
I have to keep it. So I only have two, just one more than you. So real progress. I really
Yeah.
kicked that
Well, and I
pop
think
fiction in the butt.
with the pop thing, I think a lot of people that buy those, though, they don't even open the box. So I
Yeah.
think that's just it's an interesting, we'll see what happens. We'll have to circle back on that when things start to really elevate there.
Maybe we'll get one. If they have
Yeah.
a Luca one, I won't be able to resist.
Yep.
But so moving on to our final topic of the night, and I kind of briefly mentioned it already when I brought up the Luca Prism base. I think base cards are kind of dying, and you're kind of seeing a lot of people. Adam and I are on Facebook groups. I think I'm on a little bit more than Adam for Facebook groups for like selling, trading, buying, whatever. And a lot of people are trying to get rid of like their collection. They're trying to just completely just leave the hobby. And it's mostly because I think the hobby's finally kind of calming down. I don't know if how quickly we'll see like price drops. But people are starting to like want to use their funds to like go travel again, do things out with the family, kind of a normal life, to where past year they couldn't really put their funds anywhere. People just have a addiction to shopping, so they put it in this hobby. So
Yeah.
but now that that's kind of leveling out again, people have a ton of base. And now I'm just wondering, I don't know if the base card's really like worth it anymore. In comparison, you look at like Zion, John Morant prison base cards, they're like plus hundreds, and at this point last season it was an expensive buy. exciting pull. Now you look at LaMelo Prism base cards, rookie of the year. I think you can get it for like $65.
So I think this is a product of the last couple years. Like this, as being somebody who's collected trading cards since I was, since 1992 or even before that. But really heavily collected in the early 90s to today. This is a product of the last 2 years. Like this idea of base cards being worth a lot. Base cards have never really been worth a lot. The question, is it worth it to keep base cards has always been a question. And it really stems down to, are you a set collector? And I think a lot of people aren't. And I think that's a product of the last few years as well. There are people who still do set collecting, and those are people that have been set collecting for a long time. Those are kind of more like your traditional true collectors. But like the rookie base, I remember like Jordan, you always kept Jordan base cards, and you always sleeved them, and you always put them in top loaders or put them in your 9-page holder or whatever you had at the time, because those were worth like $4, $5, $6, $7, $8. You kept your rookie base because those were worth 10, 20, 5, 4, depending on who it was, dollars. And then you had your PC players that you kept, and you kept all the base of theirs. And then the rest of it, you either, well, I remember taking trash bags full of base cards and throwing them away or donating them. I probably donated 2 entire boxes. Like I'm talking like huge, like boxes of base cards, like cardboard, the large size cardboard boxes, moving boxes full of base cards of various sports and years to children's hospitals when I was moving one time. Cause I was like, you know what? They'll have fun. There's probably some cards in here. And to this day, there are probably cards in there now that are worth $10, $15, $20 a piece. But that's always been something that's always been an issue, always been a challenge with all the base cards. And I think there's a lot of collectors that have been collecting for a long time who would literally pay other people to come in and just take all of their base cards out and just not have to mess with it. They have boxes of them. So I think that's definitely that's kind of a first world problem when it comes to the current collectors and the current investors / collectors, whatever they call themselves, that have just joined the hobby in the last year or two, who are just now developing a significant amount of base stacking up / realizing that, wow, a base rookie card, isn't worth $65, $70, $100 anymore. What the heck? What am I sell it all? I got to get out, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny for me to see because it's never been that way before. So it's like, we're kind of trickling slowly down to what I would call normalcy in that regard.
Yeah. And the good news is when base cards aren't crazy expensive, because when a base card is $150, that's when your hobby box prices skyrocket. So now the base cards are coming down. I'm fully expecting some type of price drop, maybe not with this year's product line. But I think next year's football season, even with Trevor Lawrence, you're going to see kind of a different, a little bit of a dip, which I'm super excited about.
It's a chicken and an egg situation. It's a chicken and the egg situation, because I would argue that the reason why base cards went up so high is because Panini started jacking up the prices, and distributors started jacking up the prices and doing Dutch auctions.
Yeah.
And that's what triggered the supply and demand stuff. And the base rookies started, going through the roof. But to me is a false kind of inflated pricing structure. And then and now we're seeing the opposite situation occur, which hopefully we're hoping will drive the price of the product down, the sealed product down, so we can actually start, ripping stuff at a regular rate again. But yeah, so I just hope I hope that the artificial increase in the price by Panini and the distributors of the product of hobby product, I hope that does not have a negative impact. I know it will a little bit, but a negative impact on the value of the cards overall. Because when you do that, when you artificially increase your price point, your product then increases, the cards themselves will then increase in value because of the those numbers. But then at that point, you've now associated the price of the product with the value of the card. So if the product lowers in price, now you've got this automatic assumption that the card value should start to lower. And to me, that is hard. And that is where Panini that's where there's a bit of an error, because now it's artificial. And so we'll see, and that's where everybody's talking about the dip, the bubble bursting or whatever you want to call it. We'll see what happens. I think the stuff that's still super rare will still be, super high. The super high end rare stuff is still going to go nuts. It's still going to sell for set records and stuff. It's just that mid tier and down that's going to drop significantly.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these like numbered cards, these variant cards, parallels, they're not really suffering. The dip is purely just because people are looking at their cards. Like I have this entire base that I intend to go to my hobby shop tomorrow and just be like, you can put this on your eBay. Yeah. And it's literally all just base. And it's like RJ Barrett, Tyler Hero, Kobe White, Jamal Murray, and just like all these different bases, Rui Hachimura, Brandon Clark. And a year ago, people would be like, no, you should hold those bases. But everybody had this idea that every rookie was going to be a freaking all-star, NBA champion or something like that. But the reality is it's not going to be like that. So
very similar to what happened in the early 90s with that's what everybody thought. They were going to save all their rookie cards and they were going to put their kids in college with their Ken Griffey Jr. rookie cards.
Yeah. So it's just like, I mean, for base to me, like Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, Luka, Trae Young now, Trae Young's always been a stud, but now, especially now that he's in the conference finals, Patrick Mahomes, all those guys, yes, keep those base cards. Absolutely. But the Brandon Clarks, the Rui Hachimuras, the Danny Ajvas, the Patrick Williams, you don't need to hoard them. They're not going to, they're not really.
You got to find a balance. I mean, that's the thing. It depends on whether or not you're prospecting, like as far as are you holding them because you think they're going to be studs?
Or are you just holding them to hold?
Yeah, or you just holding them because everybody's telling you, hey, keep it because it could, whatever, ride the market, or like you're day trading, or it's a penny stock or something like that. But the thing is you want to keep the guys who you think are legitimately going to be studs. So if you think this rookie is going to be, if you think Luka is going to be the next whatever,
keep it.
Say definitely. Jordan or whatever. But if you think he's going to be the face of the NBA for the next 10 to 15 years,
Jordan.
Yeah. If you think he's going to be the face of the NBA for the next 10 to 15 years, then hold him. Like hold everything that's Luka. If you think that LaMelo is going to, whatever, if you think that's going to happen, it doesn't happen very often. And that's where you have to be careful. It just depends on what you're in it for. If you're in it just to make money, then that's a tough game. If you're in it because you like to collect and that's just an aspect of it, if you enjoy collecting and then you're like, oh, this is another aspect of it. If I want to, I can liquidate this and, get a little bit of money back and, do with that what I want. Just like when you went on your honeymoon, you liquidated some of your cards to help pay for, an upgrade for your flight to go
for sure.
First class. So that's awesome to be able to do that. And I've done that when I went to Australia with my wife. I liquidated a bunch of cards to have money to just spend while we were there. So
definitely. And the backstory on that was my Luka Doncic Blue Velocity HGA 9, which I love, a card I pulled on the channel. So it's a card I loved. At the end of the day, I was like, if this card literally can put me and my wife on a premium economy seat to Hawaii.
Yep.
Why for a honeymoon? Why would I not want to do that? So yes, there's definitely the aspect of being able to flip and make money is nice. You just definitely have to find that balance. But that's the thing. Luka Doncic doesn't come in every draft class,
Right. Exactly.
And that's kind of the expectation everybody has.
There are plenty of drafts where you've got, we talked about it when we did the hobby history stuff, or I talked about it when the hobby history, there was like a 3 or 4 year window from 2000 to, 2003, that window where the drafts were not good. And that has a huge impact on the hobby as far as, value. Rookie cards are always valuable because they're people, they're rookie cards. So that's why everybody jumps at them at the beginning. It doesn't take long for you to find out that the player's not, going to make it.
It's just kind of how the hobby's been. And it's just been how people are starting to remember that and realize that. And that's kind of been my thing. I'm now in like year 3, going into my 3rd year of really consistently collecting and going through my collection and trying to being smart. And the first year I was purely just in it for Luke. I didn't really care who I pulled. I kept a lot of the ones I thought were cool, but I wasn't really caring that much. The second year I was keeping everything, watching everything, looking at analytics, looking at statistics, like stats, how players are playing, watching games specifically to see if a card will jump. And now in this 3rd year, I think for me personally, I'm going to try to be a little bit smarter, try to not hoard as much base, definitely keep my eye out on people I think will be successful, will not be. If there's an opportunity, like if I see a rookie is about to make the playoffs, yes, I'll definitely try to keep a base or two. But I'm really just going to go into my 3rd year and like really hardcore collecting, just being specific, looking at cards that have opportunities that like, and also that I like the Magic Johnson, the 25, it's low, it's Magic Johnson. There's plenty of opportunity. Plus it's just cool to have the greatest point guard to ever play in my collection. So It's just, that's kind of what the hobby, I think that's the natural next step for everybody in the hobby, is just to kind of have that mindset. So your cards like the LaMelo Red Wave Prism, I also recently sold. Still sold. It was terribly centered, like so bad at the Dallas card show. No one wanted to look at it, but it still went for 200 plus on eBay. So it's definitely, those cards are still going to have value, and they're still going to drive the market at some way or another. But definitely bases are kind of going to start to go down a little bit.
Yeah, I think, I did a lot of collecting, and we used to always keep, I used to keep inserts, numbered cards, and memorabilia and autographs, and everything else I would put in another box. Depending on what the set was, if it was a really cool set, I would keep it. Like a lot of the EX sets, I kept a lot of the EX 2000, all that stuff in basketball and football and stuff. I would keep that. But the rest of it, I would either get rid of, or I would leave in a box somewhere, and then I'd have just boxes and boxes of base cards. So it's not a new thing, but it's definitely a thing that a lot of people are starting to really kind of realize. And so we'll see what happens as we go. I think the other thing is people can't break like they used to be able to. People can't bust open box and lots of products. So they're not, you're not getting as much base as you used to. But you're having to be more decisive about what you're spending your money on. Are you going to open packs, or buy a Magic Johnson? That one card was like $100. So, that's what, 4 packs, 3 packs, depending on what the product is, maybe 1. And, if you got that card out of one of those packs, you'd be pumped. You broke,
exactly.
You built,
it's not even
the odds.
That card is worth less than a hobby pack from NBA Prism.
Yeah. So it's like, if you pulled a Magic Johnson out of NBA Prism autograph, you'd be really thrilled. You'd be really excited.
Yeah.
But what are the odds of that? Very,
the card's now to 25. So
yeah. So it's just one of those things that's like, you got to weigh your odds, what you're in it for. If you like to gamble, and that's the thing that's hard with, for me as a collector that's been has seen boxes be $70, $60, $80, $100 or less, to see what's been happening in the last like 2 or 3 years. It's been hard because it really has turned it into way more like an actual gambling. Whereas before it was kind of, it's gambling. It's like playing the penny slots. Yeah. Now it's like playing the high roller. And it's just a hard thing to see, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. And I mean, you guys have, if you are a fan of the channel, you've had a first kind of front row seat to how hard it can definitely be. And you probably understand why during this hiatus, I kind of stopped ripping. I just kind of went for specific cards that I'd want, just because my luck has been it's been pretty bad.
Well, it's literally the worst time in the history of the hobby. It is literally the worst time in the history of hobby to open product.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's
great
crazy
if you have it. Amazing if you have it. Worse if you're trying to get into it.
Worst time in the history of the hobby to open up packs. And it's funny because this is the time of in the history of the hobby where the social media and what we're doing right now is a thing, and people are opening product because they want more followers and all that stuff, and whatever you want to call it. But I'd imagine, like, what is the bankroll for that? Or like, what, how much money, what is the loss there?
Yeah.
If you ever really write down what you spend versus what, it's a hobby. And that's the thing that's lost on a lot of people, I think. So,
yeah. And there's definitely the ups and downs. I mean, when you hit, but you definitely feel it these days when you lose.
Yeah.
And hey, you'll find out if I feel it, when I win or lose, because starting next week, right after this episode comes out, we're coming right back at it with videos. On my wedding day of all days, I opened up a bunch of random hobby packs, tried to use that wedding luck, so you guys will see what will happen. That will be uploaded after this episode. And then Adam and I also talked about doing some more random hobby packs as well.
I've got a throwback break we're gonna do.
I'm really excited. I'm excited for you to rip that.
Throwback box.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's gonna be fun. And I'm personally hoping, because really when my luck in this channel came from random hobby packs, I can't remember the last like big pull. I think I had a big RJ Barrett sneaker spotlight in a Nora hobby box, but you'd hope with Nora you're getting something at least notable. But everything else, really all my big pulls have come from random packs. So I'm gonna hope to kind of go back to that and hope it treats me well again. Maybe that's the secret. So
we'll see what happens. I'll probably join you. I might do some as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We are back. We're here to stay. Every episode releases on Mondays, so be sure to check it out. And then actually we've changed it up a little bit to where we've done a couple episodes and then we'll do the full one. So we'll see. We'll keep it mysterious. You never know. But what you should do, because we keep it mysterious, is you should subscribe and you should turn on that bell so you will be the first to know. So thank you guys.
Check it out and check us out on any of the podcasts.
Yes.
Places where you get your podcasts. Yeah.
Pandora, Amazon.
Those will always drop on Mondays.
That's always going to be Mondays. Yeah. We won't surprise you there. YouTube's a little bit more fluid.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you guys so much. We will see you guys next time.